Test 1 2 testing 1 2 testing 1 2. Let's see here. We quite live. Yet I am live here. All right, testing 1 2 testing 1 2 testing 1 2 testing 1 2. All right, awesome. Good morning, everybody that's out there. Trying to make sure I get all of my sound levels together. I see people coming in, people coming on. Awesome. Let me get Instagram going. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Let's see here. We'll get started officially here in a. Oh no, it's time to get started right now. About to get started right now. Let me get Instagram going here. Start. All right. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, Twitch. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. This is the first installment of the TPE book study, the book club. Today, we're going to be going over a book that's been sitting on my bookshelf for a while now, and that's Atomic Habits. Okay. You can get that book right now at Target. You can get that book right now on Amazon. You can get it digitally or physically. So anywhere you pretty much purchase books, you can get that book. I really wanted to start off 2023 with us looking at looking at our habits. A lot of times when we think about habits as something negative. We think about habits in the context of the things that we're, addictions or things that we overindulge in. But a lot of times what we don't realize is that habits really fuel and they really push all areas of our lives, not only the things that may be viewed as negative, but they also help fuel performance. They also help fuel us reaching different points in our lives that we want to get to. Good morning, Felix. I'm sorry, I saw your comment there. Good morning, my man. How you doing this morning? But for those of you who've had the opportunity to read this first portion of the book, this is more so of an introduction to the idea of habits. This is more of an introduction to the idea behind the mindset of why we should evaluate and look at what our habits are and how we, just kind of tuning up our mindset. But before I dive in, I want to kind of go over some housekeeping things really quickly. First of all, we have a private Facebook group that is going to be geared towards deepening the conversation here about this book. There's also a free resource there that's a 6-day guide that will help steer you through going through this content and giving you something daily to think about. I would highly encourage you guys to if you're on Facebook or wherever you're listening to this at, type I want in the comments, type I want in, and we will definitely get you added to that Facebook group. So then at that point, you'll be able to join the conversation beyond these weekly lives that will be happening on Monday. And again, I'll be publishing new guides every week in that group and on our website once it goes live this week regarding the just different things that we can talk about to try to help evaluate our habits, man. And I'll tell you what, just after reading, this is like the second book that I've looked at as far as habits and trying to get a better idea on how my habits are and what can I do to make better habits. And this one really kind of hit me in the gut a bit in terms of how I think about business and how I think about goal setting and how I think about results and how I think about achieving results. And when I read the title of this book, and my initial knee-jerk reaction was, okay, when I hear the word atomic, I'm thinking large, sweeping, massive change. This book is really is geared towards helping you focus on getting 1% better marginally better at different things rather than looking at the big sweeping changes. And I truly believe as we go through this book and as we go through the different sections of this book, we'll learn to realize that our growth is going to be found in the small changes that we make, not necessarily the large results that we create, if that makes sense. And so that's at the core of this is really thinking about how can I get 1% better at the things that I do on a day-to-day basis. I think the book talks about that if you can get 1% better every day, that you could improve by the end of the year 37 times better than you were when you started. And so this is the top of the year. This is not exactly the first, it's the day after the first. But if we started today looking at our daily habits and looking at the different processes that we participate in every day and just seek to find something to get a little bit better at, it doesn't have to be nothing large or nothing sweeping, but if we can just appreciate getting marginally better at whatever activity that is, then we can see great change over time. And I can think I'm a testament to this because back right before my youngest was born, I had lost 70 pounds. Man, we were working out 2 or 3 times a day. We were eating right, but the things we were doing were not sustainable or not great habit forming. And what ended up happening was some things happened to where I kind of had to take my focus off of the working out, had to take my focus off of my diet. And then we ended up just kind of gaining that weight all back again. And now looking at this content in this book, that my approach to a life of health and sustainability, I was approaching it wrong. I was looking at trying to make, hey, I need to lose this unrealistic amount of weight per month. And that led to, sure, I had a short-term success, but my long-term success was not near where it needed to be. And so when we look at, there's certain things in our lives, whether that's health, spiritual, financial, from a family aspect of things, there's a lot of different factors that go into our lives that we can look at the systems that go behind those things to figure out how successful we're going to be or not. One of the biggest things that I've tried to lean into over the last couple of weeks as far as my habits are concerned is really leveraging my calendar. That's the calendar that's on my phone. I think a lot of times we underappreciate or we scoff at the idea of using that calendar, and we don't think that's important. But in terms of forming habit, or because for me, one of my biggest issues is time management. Sometimes I find myself in a conversation longer than I should. Sometimes I find myself in a meeting longer than I should be. Sometimes I find myself not prioritizing the things that I need to do in a timely fashion. And so one of my triggers that I started to evaluate, and one of the triggers that I really started to lean into was using my calendar on my phone. And it sounds really simple, and I know that a lot of people out there already probably do this, but I've gotten to a point where I'm trying to put everything on the calendar as much as I can, even down to the smallest of tasks. I'm trying to get to a place to where that is becoming my main go-to, my main thing. I check the morning of for what I have going on that day. I try to get ahead by looking a day or two ahead of time, and just really starting to leverage, that, and then using that as the governor for my yeses and my nos. I think a lot of times we overextend ourselves or we overcommit ourselves by not having a keen sense of where our time is, or keen sense of understanding where our time is going. So definitely looking at that as a good piece of information to help you develop a good habit of staying on time. Going back to just the mindset of incremental change or marginal change or small changes, in my line of work, we have a term called Beehack, and Beehack is big, hairy, audacious goals. And usually, and I've been using this term, or I've been familiar with this term for the last maybe 10 or 12 years or so. And that's been a driving force, I feel like, in what our results have been from a professional standpoint. It's shoot for the stars, and if you land on the moon, you've done well. But I think, in reading this first section of this book and starting to study the scientific measures behind habits, I think that mindset is great in terms of trying to stretch the team, but if we're really going to truly find long-term success in relation to finding continuous improvement in terms of perpetually getting better, we have to start thinking smaller and start thinking about what do we do on a day-to-day basis that drives performance. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're into fitness, if you're into coaching, if you're into cosmetics, if you're into whatever that is that you're into, starting to appreciate the small daily gains, or the small gains that you can accumulate over time. And what you'll realize is that you'll get closer to your goals if you start focusing on those very small aspects. Because the author of this book says that one of the things that he kind of canvases, and I think is interesting to me, is that he says that winners and losers both have goals, right? And sometimes when we get really caught up in the goal that we set versus the activities that is required to meet the goal, that if we don't reach the goal, and when we don't reach the goal and then we see other people reaching the goal, we tend to psychologically go down further, because we're like, well, they set the same goal that I set, or close to it at least, and they reached it and I didn't. And then so you, as the individual, take that as a standpoint of, why should I try? Why should I continue? Why should I continue to try to press on and continue to do this? Whereas you should be thinking about this in the context of, well, okay, maybe that didn't work. The goal might be the same, but how do I look at and evaluate the steps and systems that I've implemented to be able to get these things done? I think, as we mature into this book and we continue to read and look at what the author has to say, we're going to start to evaluate what our natural triggers are. When you wake up in the morning, there's small things that you can do to help enhance your daily walk. Like sometimes there's some people who have a hard time waking up in the morning. Something as simple as, hey, I'm going to charge my phone away from my nightstand. I'm going to put my phone on my dresser, and they'll force you to have to get up instead of just staying asleep. So there's little itty bitty things that you can look at throughout your day that you can implement to help you get closer to your goals, to help you get closer to where it is that you want to be. And again, we're not chasing 20-30% gains. We're chasing 1% gains here. We're not, and if we can get 1% better every day, what did we say? We can get 37 times better by the end of the year. And then inversely, the author says, if you don't choose to get 1% better and you get 1% worse, the inverse happens. You'll get 37 times worse. So that's definitely a place that we don't want to be, and that's definitely a place that we would choose not to be. So I want, in closing, because I want to try to keep this within a 15-minute target, so everybody can get their day started and everybody can get back, get into the groove of things. And I know it's a big Monday. It's the first Monday of the year, so we're going to kind of hit the ground running a little bit, but really looking at, and I guess in that guide that's available in the Facebook group, really looking at the areas of your life that you want to get better in. Like, identify those areas and then identify the activities that go into those areas that you do on a day-to-day basis. Everything down to just how you spend your time, what tools and resources you have to keep up with notes and to keep up with the things that you want to do, and just kind of and start looking at and taking an inventory, just writing down what it is that you want to do and writing down what goes into that. And sometimes we downplay the activity of writing things down or taking notes of it, but psychologically, two things happen. One, you are creating a subconscious contract with yourself and whatever it is that you're trying to achieve by committing to putting it to paper. And then two, you just psychologically deepen the need for you to do it, because the repetition of writing it down, taking it from your mind and putting it on paper, it creates a deeper sense of attachment to whatever that activity is. And so, I thank everyone who got on the live today. I appreciate everybody that's on Facebook. I appreciate everybody that's on YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. And we will definitely catch you guys next time And if you're not a part of that Facebook group, please comment "I want in." I will be spending more time throughout the week around the core subjects of this first component of the book, and then also we'll be going through that resource that is available in the group as well. Until next time, man, you guys have a great week. Peace.